Well, good evening. It's evening for you, but it's late afternoon here in the church office here. This evening, I'm taking my beautiful bride on a little date. So we were fortunate enough to get tickets to an event over in Raleigh a while back. So we will be venturing over there this evening. So I'm coming to you from the office as there is a lot going on outside at the porch, and I'm trying to play with some more new media stuff and check on how things work and such. So hopefully this will all work, and you will be able to see this at our regular time of 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening. December 1st. This is actually the fourth official day of Advent, in which we find ourselves in this season of anticipation, of suffering, of angst, of anxiety, of waiting, of so many things for so many different individuals. But we also find ourselves in a often deep devotional time for us as Christians, because traditionally Advent is a time of the year in which somebody who may not, I don't want to say profess, but may not practice as much of the Christian life will often practice this particular moment in our calendar. Not because it's something different, not because it's something that you need to do, not because it is something that is going to happen, but it's something that we as Christians look at and see differently. We as Christians look at and see, amidst the pain, amidst the struggles, amidst the anticipation, we as Christians find this time as something that we savor, we entrust ourselves to be in. We eventually find ourselves connecting with Christ through this time of year. Excuse me. But something that we also do this time of year is oftentimes go to devotionals that maybe we only go to a couple times a year. Now, we all have, or many of us have, the upper rooms in which we practice on a very regular basis. But many of us also look for other ways and means to find Christ in our life. And for the last couple of years, a professor from Duke named Kate Bowler has released a devotional have released a devotional of, she has released a devotional, I should say. And in that devotional, she speaks. And she writes. And I wanted to share that with you today. She has a son named Zach. And she writes an awful lot about him during this time. And if you're interested in some of her she's published a couple other books too, and I've got them in my office if you're interested in reading more about. But she says in today's, the fourth day of Advent's devotional, Zach still helps me light the Advent candles on the wreath each Sunday. It's a tradition created by a German pastor in the 19th century as a way to teach kids about the coming of Christ. We flick off the fluorescent lamp in our living room, and we let the darkness sink in. In Hamburg, Germany, in 1833, Johann Heinrich Wichern opened the rough house, which sheltered orphaned or neglected children. Every night of Advent, he told them stories, prayed with them, and lit a candle. To accommodate the candles, a wheel-shaped chandelier was built, around which evergreens were twined. Visitors and supporters were impressed by this display, and the custom spread, but those who imitated it reduced it in size to 4 candles, 1 for each week of Advent. Many churches and homes mark the progress of the Advent by lighting 1 additional candle a week until the final Sunday, when all 4 candles are alight. Three of these candles are purple or violet, potential colors, while the one lit on the 3rd Sunday is pink, of rejoicing after Christmas. Pink of rejoicing. After Christmas, these candles are often replaced with white ones. The candles represent the coming of Christ, the coming of Jesus, the light of the world. And it was once customary for someone named John or Joan to be first to light them, because John the Baptist at the River Jordan was the first to see the fire of divinity in Jesus. See John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 29 through 34. And John the Evangelist began his gospel by referring to Jesus as the light, also in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. The wreath is an ancient symbol of victory, while the greenery represents the everlasting life. As Kate explained, the practice all over again, as I explained the practice all over again to my still very young, wiggly 8-year-old, I am struck by the contrast of light and dark during the Advent season in particular. In our era of artificial street lamps, incandescent light available at the click of a switch, and the glowing blue and red dots blinking from every appliance, we forget just how dark winter is, when the sun seems so pale and far away, and the nights are so long. Our ancestors knew this darkness intimately. In December, after sunset, they locked the doors, shuttered the windows, and tucked in early. Their folk tales warned them that as Christmas drew near, the spirits of darkness began to range more actively, more furious at the approach of the Christ child. Witches were werewolves, and evil forces are abroad in the night, seeking to harm humans, steal children, and destroy their livestock. Ritual steps were taken to keep witches from coming down the chimney or keep the monsters out of the home. In Scandinavian, families often slept together for protection on Christmas Eve, the peak of the evil's power. Darkness seems to always carry a bad reputation, whether literally or metaphorically. It represents the unknown, the scary, the void at all costs. But perhaps there are things we can't learn under blazing artificial light that we can only learn in the dark. It takes being outside at night to squint for the stars, or flipping off the light so we can watch a candlelight dance. But darkness will never take us by surprise. We know that we are born into a broken world, that violence and sin are daily constants in life on planet Earth, and that it took a hideous death of an innocent man to free us. We also know that there is an inexhaustible source of brightness and warmth in a person of Jesus, who first appeared to us as a baby in a manger 2,000 years ago. The arrival of Jesus was preceded by a light in the heavens that guided the Magi and was hailed by an old wise man in the temple as the appearance of the light unto the Gentiles. Christ became our light in the darkness of this world. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. Christ was able to light our way in ways that we don't often see where we are or what we are to be in the future. Christ lights our way even when we go the other direction. Christ lights our way when we think that there is no way out of the darkness. Christ lights our way. Each and every moment that we as Christians live on this broken world, each and every day we learn something new about the way that Christ interacts with us. Each and every day we as Christians are also witness to the darkness that this world brings. As we enter into this holiday season, many of us are in a dark place in our lives, and that's okay. Many of us are witness to others that are in very dark places in their lives, and that's okay. And even yesterday, turning on the news in my home state of Michigan, we were witness to more violence with yet another school shooting right here before the season of Christmas. Each of us is called by Christ to be the light for somebody else. When we take on the cloak of Jesus in baptism, we take on Christ's light. We bring that light to represent the light to others. We bring this space for others. We allow ourselves a space to have darkness, but also know that there is light. A light that only shines through the grace and the glory of Jesus Christ. Now, each of us knows someone who is struggling this holiday season. Each of us knows someone who maybe just doesn't feel like their normal selves right now. Each of us knows someone that has had a hard time over these last couple years. So let us be the ones. Let us be God's children, and let us reach out to them and be their light today, this week, this month. As for many, this month is not a joyous occasion. It's hard to find the hope. It's hard to find the peace. It's hard to find the joy. But friends, each of us will come through this together. We come through this because we are all in the family of God. We are all entrusting in each other to carry each other and carry each other with love. So though this is a brief moment this evening, share your love with somebody. Reach out to somebody. Care for somebody. And let somebody know that they are loved no matter what. Guide us each and every day as we are guided by you, Jesus Christ, in order to fulfill, and to live into the call that you have put upon us to love our neighbor and love our God. If we do those two things, Lord, then everything else will fall into place. So let us go. Be God's children. Be the love of God. Be the love of Christ. And know that we are loved by God, loved by Jesus, and we have that light that is continuously burning to guide our way even when we are in the darkest spaces of our lives. Amen.